Every month, your phone quietly charges you for your own photos, your own memories. And somehow we all have accepted this like it's normal. It's only $2.99, but that's exactly how the trap works. And most people don't even notice the digital landlord until their phone suddenly says, "Storage full." So I spent the last few weeks testing a NAS setup to see if people were right about ditching the cloud cult completely. And honestly, what I found completely changed how I think about tech subscriptions and something they never tell beginners. So if iCloud already works, why are tech people suddenly building tiny data centers in their houses like Batman with a Costco membership? It's because cloud storage is designed to feel invisible. That's the trick. You don't really notice it until your photos stop syncing, your storage fills up, or Apple politely says, "Hey, we're gonna need another $2.99. And to be fair, iCloud is convenient. That's why people stay. It works quietly in the background. You take a photo and boom, it's magically everywhere. But convenience and ownership are not the same thing. That's the philosophical trap underneath all of this. Because the cloud feels personal until you realize you're permanently renting space from a corporation to store pieces of your own life. Family photos, videos, documents, memories. And the moment you stop paying, things get awkward fast. That's not ownership. That's digital rent. And honestly, once I realized I'd spent years paying a monthly fee just to keep access to files I already owned, it started to feel oddly emotional, like paying a landlord to visit my own childhood. And that realization is what pushed me into NAS in the first place. Not speed, not tech, but control. So what actually makes NAS feel so different? Honestly, it's not the hardware, it's the feeling. Because NAS, network attached storage, sounds intimidating at first, like something only cybersecurity, YouTubers, and people with 6 monitors understand. But after using one for a few weeks, I realized it's basically just a private cloud that lives in your house, not on somebody else's server farm. And weirdly, that changes your relationship with technology. Because I expected the setup process to be a disaster, I was mentally preparing for coding tutorials, Linux forums, and a guy on Reddit named Server Daddy 42. Instead, it was mostly click next.
Neat. Yeah, boy.
That was it. And once it started running, something subtle happened. My phone backed itself up automatically. My laptop instantly saw the files. Movies streamed to the TV without buffering. Everything just quietly existed where it was supposed to. No storage warnings, no deleting random videos to free up space, no tiny monthly payment hanging over my head like a digital parking meter. And the strangest part? I stopped thinking about storage entirely. Which sounds small until you realize how much modern tech is designed to constantly remind you that you're running out of something. Battery, storage, subscriptions, attention. But NAS felt different. Not flashy, not futuristic, just stable. Like buying land after years of renting apartments. And that's when it clicked for me. A NAS doesn't feel like buying storage. It feels like regaining ownership over your digital life. But here's the part NAS people don't always tell beginners. This is not magic. And honestly, that's probably a good thing. Because once you get past the hype, you realize something important. A NAS is only as good as the setup behind it. Bad router, bad experience. Cheap drives, bad experience. Slow network? Now your private cloud moves like it's downloading movies in 2007. It's basically like buying a Ferrari and then driving it through a school zone behind a tractor. Still technically impressive, but not exactly life-changing. And then there's RAID. This is the feature people online explain in the most terrifying way possible. But RAID is actually simple. It just means your drives protect each other. So if one drive fails, you don't lose everything. And trust me, after testing this system, that was the moment I finally understood why people become obsessed with NAS. Because losing family photos isn't just losing files. That's emotional damage. That's the kind of mistake people think about years later. Cloud storage feels convenient because someone else handles the responsibility. NAS feels different because you handle the responsibility. And strangely, that makes it feel safer. Not because it's perfect, but because it's intentional. That's the hidden truth nobody explains properly. A NAS doesn't remove responsibility. It gives it back to you. Okay, so should everyone abandon cloud storage tomorrow and become a basement server wizard? No, and this is where the internet becomes dramatically unrealistic, because cloud storage is still genuinely great for certain people, if you barely use storage, only use Apple devices casually, want simplicity above everything, or just never want to think about setup, then honestly, iCloud is perfectly fine. Seriously, most people don't need a NAS, but NAS starts making sense when your digital life gets bigger. Lots of photos, lots of videos, multiple devices, backups, large media libraries. Or maybe you're just tired of subscriptions multiplying every month like rabbits with credit cards. That's when the equation changes. And here's what surprised me most after testing both. The smartest setup isn't NAS or cloud. It's both. Cloud for convenience, NAS for ownership. One handles accessibility, the other handles permanence, which leads to the biggest question people ask. Okay, but which NAS should I actually buy? Because this is where people accidentally turn buying storage into building a NASA command center. After testing a few setups, I kept coming back to UGREEN. Specifically, the DXP4800 Plus and the DH4300 Plus, and these feel like two completely different personalities. The DXP4800 Plus is the I run my digital life machine. 4-bay setup, Intel processor, more performance, more expansion. This is for creators' Plex servers, massive photo libraries, and people casually saying, yeah, I've got 14 terabytes of backups, which is both impressive and slightly terrifying. This is the NAS equivalent of somebody owning multiple monitors and somehow knowing keyboard shortcuts nobody else understands. Then there's the DH4300 Plus. Way simpler, way friendlier. Less, I built a server rack. More, I just want my files safe and my life less annoying. And honestly, that's probably most people. The biggest surprise after testing both wasn't speed. It was accessibility. NAS finally feels normal now. A few years ago, this stuff felt like tech nerd territory. Now, it feels like something regular people are slowly waking up to. And I think that's because people are getting tired of subscriptions quietly eating their wallets forever. Here's the truth. This video was never really about storage. It was about ownership. Because modern tech quietly trains people to rent everything: movies, music, software, and now even their memories. And after spending weeks testing NAS, the biggest change wasn't speed. It wasn't convenience. It was trust. I stopped worrying about storage, stopped checking space, stopped thinking about upgrades. Everything simply existed where I wanted it to exist. Quietly, reliably, permanently. And honestly, that feeling is hard to explain until you experience it yourself. Because once you realize there's a difference between convenience and control, you start looking at subscriptions very differently. Cloud storage sells convenience. NAS sells ownership. And ownership feels different once you realize how long you've been renting. If this video helped you understand NAS better, hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. And tell me honestly, are you staying in the cloud or are you finally ready to own your storage?